So I'm back. There's a super simple, often overlooked reason why some businesses fail and why others are wildly successful with their marketing engine. And we're going to talk about that today. Thanks for joining me. I'm Robert Vicola, founder of Romy Interactive. I help business owners and entrepreneurs attract leads, generate more revenue, and keep their customers happy with simple, practical, and easy to understand marketing advice. So thanks for joining me on this journey today. And we're going to jump right into the meat of this. In my last couple of videos, I discussed value propositions and unique selling points. Value propositions, if you'll remember, are statements that really speak to the highest value that your product or service gives to its core target audience. And your unique value proposition, or your unique selling point, your USP, is that which separates you from the competition. And if you notice one thing about both of those items is that they are both focused on messaging. And that's really the number one thing that the businesses that I work with, before I work with them, that they overlook. It's really one of the most important things. And that, typically, business owners are super proud of what they have. But the problem is that they're really, really close to it. And so it's really difficult to see things from a 30,000 foot view, to see things the way a customer or prospect might see them. And so, many, many times they get lost in the minute details when their real issue with success is their messaging. And, I totally get it. If you've been hearing, that you have a great product and that it sells itself, but it's just not happening, guess what? It's probably a messaging problem. And, if you've been in the marketplace for a while and every time you show your product to someone, they absolutely love it, but the real problem is that you can't find enough people to give demonstrations of your product or your service to, you might have a messaging problem. And perhaps, if I worked with a lot of technology startups, and many times in your pre-money phase, before they're at a Series A round of funding, they are pitching to investors all the time. They're pitching to potential partners or particular technology vendors that may be distributing their product. And many times they're using a PowerPoint slide deck or some other type of presentation, or maybe it's just a talk. But before they even get to their second point, they might go through a round of 10 questions that takes 20 or 30 minutes to walk through. And let me tell you, you probably have a messaging problem. Your messaging is way off base. And I don't say that to be harsh, but it's a really, really common problem. And, I think especially if you're a business owner and entrepreneur, you've probably put a lot of sweat equity into the services and the products that you provide the marketplace. And you should really, really, really proud of them. But I want to make sure, as a marketer, that your sweat equity is paying off. Believe me, I get it. Your product and the widget that you provide to people is the best the world has ever seen. But the simple fact of the matter is that if they're not, it's not selling like hotcakes. If you've been in the business a while now, and you just find it really hard to find the right people to actually sell your product to, you really need to take a look at your messaging. And so, the good news is there's just one simple trick, there's one simple adjustment that you need to make in your marketing. And I want to be really clear here. It's not a hack. Okay, this is not a marketing hack that's going to completely turn you and your business, into a winner. It's not a tip or a trick, but it's really foundational to marketing. And if you have a marketer in-house or you've been working with consultants previously and they haven't picked up on this, I got to tell you right now, it's worth stopping what you're doing and really analyzing the situation and analyzing your target audience and checking to see is what I am communicating effectively, if you're getting shared understanding among your audience. It's one of the things that I talk about a lot with my clients. I talk about the relationship between effective communication and shared understanding. And the reality is, if you don't have that shared understanding, with your audience, then you're really not effectively communicating. And if you're not effectively communicating, through your messaging, if people can't come to your website and right off the bat understand exactly what it is that you do and what you're going to provide to them, and if they can't, perhaps you sell product and you're either at trade shows or you're in a store or something of that nature. If they can't easily understand what it is you're providing them right off the bat, you really need to take a look at your messaging. And so the one simple trick, the one thing that's going to separate you and your business from your competition, and the one thing that's going to change your organization from perhaps the lovable losers into the winners, it's this number one thing. Are you ready for it? It's the why. It's the why. It really is that simple. It's the why you're in business. And the why you're in business should be all about your customers. It should be all about your target audience. It should be all about serving their pains. It should be all about taking care of their needs. It should really be all about servicing their desires. And that should be the motivation. Our customers have to be our motivation. It's one of the reasons I'm in business. For me personally, I really just love helping people. I get a thrill out of watching people's companies grow. When they put a ton of work into something, and then someone like me can come in and help them from a marketing perspective, and they become successful. We generate a ton of leads for them, and they're able to effectively sell their product. I get really happy about that, and that's why I like to do these videos. I like streaming. I like giving my practical marketing advice. Is because I really feel like most times, most of the issues that you see in business are really communication issues. Is that you're saying something, but your audience isn't quite hearing you, and they're not really understanding what it is that you want them to say. Your audience has a very specific pain that needs to be eased. They have a need that needs to be serviced, or a desire that has to be fulfilled. And so that's really all that we're going to be talking about today. That the number one thing that typically sets business apart from one another, the winners from the losers, is messaging. It's not the product in and of itself many times, and especially in the technology world. If you're a developer, I hope you're listening. If you're a developer or you're a chief technology officer, or perhaps you guys already have a product and you're a CEO and you're looking for that next round of funding, I want to let you in on a little bit of a secret. If you have any competitors in your space right now, then most likely your technology product, the features that's within your product, is probably not very different than your competition. It's not a big secret. The secret is the messaging. And so tomorrow, when you come back, I do want to share with you guys the ABCs of coming up with foundational messaging. We're going to go through the exact steps that are going to help you come up with an elevator pitch, and as it's for a company, it might be an about statement. But we want to go through that. I want to help you guys avoid the common mistakes that I see a lot of businesses making today. I want to help you be successful. If you like this video, please share it. Behind me on my screen here, I have a couple of social media accounts. Obviously, if you found me here on Periscope at Romy Interactive, then please follow me. I try to do videos on a daily basis. And I'd love for you to tune in. I'd love to hear your comments and your questions. And many times, a lot of the questions that I get, I'll turn into videos as well, and we'll address those things. And you can also find me on Twitter at Romy Interactive. That's ROMI Interactive, all one word. Thanks for joining me. Hope you guys have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow for some more practical marketing advice and guidance. Have a good one. See you later.